Hi there, welcome back to Your Money in Real Estate. We're talking about Kirkland Lake, we're talking about a gold rush, we're talking about opportunities that are probably unheard of down here in the South. But as I mentioned, as I promised, we're gonna get into some numbers. Mike, I think you brought some pictures with you.
Yes.
So we're gonna look here and at some pictures here. Well, you know what? It's going to be your first property. Oh, there it is.
That's not the first property. That's a tax sale that I bought.
Okay, but let's talk about that then.
All right.
Okay. So what is the amount that you paid for this property?
$16,500.
$16,500.
It was a tax sale, so.
Yeah, but still, I'm going to make this as big as possible. 16,500 buy. Now, Mike, I got it. So, the condition.
It was
Is this
vacant.
the one full of cats? It was vacant.
No, this is a different one. It was vacant. It was before the cat one. It was vacant, fourplex. We had to put $80,000 into it.
Okay.
Like, we're talking everything, all the appliances, toilets, vanities, floors, ceilings, everything, doors, everything replaced. All with quality.
So we end up at what? 96,500, right?
Yeah.
And we've got a fourplex.
Yes.
Now, let's get into the magic. Let's get into the magic part here. It's how many bedrooms?
2 bedrooms in each.
2 bedrooms in each.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you getting for the rents there?
$850 on 2 of them and $900 on 2 of them.
So $850 times 2?
Yeah.
And $900 times 2.
Yeah.
So that's $1,800 and $1,700, right?
That's right.
So that gives us what? 35. Now you're getting $3,500 a month in rent at something that cost you $96,000. Now I hate to embellish on this because these numbers are unheard of and they almost sound too good to be true.
I know. Yeah.
Because I've never seen. I mean, I remember when I bought it. I bought my first property in Aurelia. I paid $119 for it. It was a duplex, and I was getting. I got about $1,800 a month in rent, and it cash flowed. It was in rough shape, but this doesn't even compare.
Yeah. Yeah. The cash flow is incredible.
So do you still have this property in your portfolio now?
I do.
Holy moly! Okay, so. So that's property. That's one property. Okay, let's look at another property here.
That was appraised 8 months later at $180.
180.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say it again. 180. It doubled. It doubled in value.
It did.
Over what you were. Holy moly! And so you took the money out and you did what with it?
The bank wouldn't give me a full 70% on that, so I think I got about $50,000 out of it, and I bought another property. I bought 2 properties. One of them being a foreclosure that I got for $37,000.
Okay.
And then money down on another property.
Now you're also being fairly risky because everyone knows that in refinance, your mortgages go up, everything goes up, and as I mentioned earlier, if the prices go down, you're over leveraged, you're over mortgaged, you're in trouble.
Unless you have $3,500 a month coming in.
Well, yeah, but okay, but we all know that when the economy tanks, people don't pay rent.
That's right.
And in a one-horse town like Kirkland Lake, so I get it. I mean, there's
risk.
There's risk.
Definitely risk.
And if anything, there's tons of risk.
Yeah.
But like anything, I mean, we're talking about $3,500 a month, and the numbers. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, your mortgage is probably $800, and the rest is, I mean, you got reserves, you got all that reserve fund, and et cetera. Okay, let's take a look at the second property we're going to take a look at here. Can we see the down in the trenches property there? And there we go.
That was the first property I bought. It's 2 duplexes side by side, identical buildings.
Okay.
$47,900 is what I paid.
$47,900.
That was back in 2009.
$47,900, and it's 2 properties.
Yeah, no, it's 1 property with 2 buildings.
2 buildings, but it was a fourplex as well.
No, it is a fourplex if you consider both duplexes.
Right. Okay, so it's a fourplex.
Yeah.
It's a 1 property, but it's a fourplex.
That's right.
Okay, so, but you bought it and it was in rough shape. And this is your first property.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was turnkey. There were students living in it at $500 an apartment.
Oh, there we go. Is that what it looked like before?
No, this is what it looked like after I put new windows in it. We put on 24 new windows in the front of the building.
Wow. So when you bought it for 40, and this is your first property.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're all excited, you're all gung-ho, and you're thinking, okay, did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
Were you scared?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. What were you scared about that?
Well, that was the time when I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't know if I was making a mistake or not.
Ah, that's right. It's your first property, so you're
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
what am I doing here?
When I saw the gold going up, but I didn't have any confirmation yet that it was going. So all the property prices were still down. So when you buy when they're down, it's great, except you're scared they're not going to go up.
Yeah, of course. You
Yeah.
think, and like anything, people are telling you, oh yeah, we got another 10 years. I mean, we all know that in a heartbeat things
Yeah,
can change.
Definitely.
But I got to commend you. You go from a vending machine hot dog thing, and you end up buying your first property. Okay, I can go on and on. I'm blown away. So 47.9. How much did you end up putting into it to really get back to where it needed to be?
The windows, I got the windows from a guy in London for $75 each.
Whoa!
So I ended up spending about $2,000 on windows, bringing them up. And
How many windows did you buy?
24 windows.
That alone, 24 windows.
That's a big savings.
Okay, but so is this something that you happened to just come across?
It was in Kijiji.
So you were. It sounds like you're also the kind of guy that you're just not going to walk into a Home Depot and say, okay, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this.
No, unless I have to. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to buy there, but we buy a lot of things at Habitat for Humanity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and anywhere I can get good quality stuff for a good price, I'll pick it up.
And again, you're touching on stuff that as I said earlier, landlording, investing in small multifamily is really about counting the pennies. Everyone
yeah.
says, you're right, you got to buy right, but to hook this place up with 24 windows should have cost you $24,000.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Should've been a
in
lot
that
more than
range.
a couple grand.
18,000.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and so. Well, talk to me a little bit about that mentality. I mean, you don't mind outfitting your property with rehab stuff?
Oh,
or?
not at all. If it's good quality stuff, nobody can see the difference anyway. I mean, I wouldn't go buy crap and put it in there, but if I can get, I put secondhand fridges in I've got 60 units, so I'm not going to go buy all new fridges.
Yeah.
Something breaks down, we put a good quality secondhand fridge in. Up north, that'll cost $400.
Secondhand?
There's no Habitat or anything there.
Yeah.
But down here, I can buy it for maybe $100.
That's true because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So you buy your supplies down here?
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
some of them, yeah.
And you ship them up there?
Yeah. For big things like that and big savings, yeah. Yeah. Tiles and lumber and everything like that we get up north in Kirkland Lake.
But with 60 doors, right? As we said, with 60 units, there must be a renovation happening pretty much all the time.
All the time, yeah.
I mean, I had similar numbers as that, and it drove me crazy. I have to admit, I didn't like that part of it, and that's why I enjoy talking about the trenches, talking about the tougher stuff, because I've been there, and it can be a real goal. But you seem to be still pumping away at it.
Well, the crew I have up there is always doing something. I mean, he'll call me and say, okay, Joe Blow moved out of apartment 4. He left a big mess, holes in the drywall, and so they'll fix that up before they put anybody in. Make sure the floors are good, make sure there's new paint. So every time somebody moves out, we're upgrading the value of that apartment.
And therefore upgrading the rents as well?
Definitely.
Yeah. So the influx of these miners, I guess, you're renting more and more to the miners?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that the quality of rent is also, the quality of tenant is also improving?
Most of the time. Some of these guys are real partiers, eh? So, but
You
most
mean
of
the
them are pretty
miners?
good.
The miner guys? Yeah.
Yeah. But most of them just want to sleep, get up, and go to work, and they're pretty quiet for the most part.
Talking a bit about that, I mean, your lease structures. Talk to me about leases. How do you structure your leases?
There are no leases. Everything up there is month to month.
Whoa!
Everything.
I gotta write that down. You operate on no leases.
Yep. Everybody does.
Okay. You know what? If the phone doesn't ring over that one, how come it's not ringing? But so tell me, why no leases? I mean, I kind of got an idea, and I know why, but you tell me.
I'd like to have leases, but nobody up there has them. So anybody who doesn't want a lease would just go to a different landlord. It's just the way it's always been. It's a mining town, so it's all month to month. Some guys might come in and only want to stay there for a year, right? Now I have a single-family house I bought that does have leases. I made that one with a lease, but as far as the apartments, nobody has them. We might change that in the future. If I can, I will, because it gives you more security.
I've talked to a few lawyers, and some of them say that the lease, in reality,
Doesn't mean anything.
well, when you go to the tribunal, you're right, but it really protects more of the tenant than it does the landlord.
That's right.
And so that's why I'm surprised that tenants realize that if they have a lease, they have that piece of paper they can go to the tribunal with.
Yeah.
If there's nothing, month to month actually gives you more exit strategies.
It does.
Than without a lease.
Although the tribunal will still side with the tenant anyway, even if there's no lease. I mean, it depends who you get, I find, too. The tribunal you might get one person who's for the tenant, you might get somebody else who's for the landlord. And quite often it's the tenant. I mean, Ontario has the strictest laws for the board of any province in Canada.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I mean, it's. I know that Alberta. Again, talking about Alberta, they don't have that. There isn't that. So, but yeah, the tribunal can make things a little
Pretty
bit
rough.
difficult. But that's why I asked you how many times you've been in, because with the number of doors that you have, you're bound to get.
Oh yeah.
Something bad, but no leases. So, have you ever used an N8 or an N6 or an N11 where?
N11, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I use on the fourplex.
Well, before we get into that, though, what is an N11? Because, for some people, they don't understand. There's N4s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Before we get into that, I do want to talk about that because, we've never really talked about some of the tribunal issues. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to still be talking about these incredible deals in Kirkland Lake and right back on Your Money in Real Estate.